Well, if you looked at my newsletter this week, I kind of was, I always try and get a title for the segment. And this one I had to put down gays, Nazis, and the Holocaust. Did I hit it all?
That about sums it up, yeah.
I think I got it all in here. But Barbara Davis-Dickman is the director of this play, and this is done by the Confetti Stage. They're showing they're producing it over at the Albany Barn over on 2nd Avenue in Albany. And with me, I have Tom Dickson next to him, and then next is Matthew Side, and then we have Brian McBride Land. Right, got it all in there. Good. And well, first of all, I'd like to talk to the director and find out what is this play about.
Well, it's about a story about the persecution of homosexuals during the Nazi Europe.
Well, they weren't the only ones that are persecuted.
Oh,
I mean,
lots.
they just
persecuted a lot of people.
They did a lot, but this was special.
Well, and I think, again, it's a group that I personally, I didn't know there was such a, the persecution was within that
so
group as well, until I read the play.
And I was not aware of it either. I mean, I thought it was like the gypsies and the Jews. I mean, they had certain people that were targeted. I didn't realize that the gays were also targeted until I kind of started to read a little bit about this.
And they seem to be, I mean, it depends upon, who you ask, but they had different things that they had to wear. They wore a pink triangle as opposed to the yellow star.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, so.
How did they identify him?
I don't know. How did they identify him?
You see a lot of this in the show, people turning
each other in.
Turning each other in.
You got a prize, I think, if you turn somebody in, right?
Exactly. So more of the, well, if I turn this person in, maybe it covers up something that I was doing that, I don't want the Nazis to know about, or as long as I'm on their side and they're the ones that are in power right now.
Safe.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of self-preservation, kind of.
Now, Tom, are you a good guy or a bad guy?
I'm a good guy. Well, actually, it depends on the moment and who you ask in the show. My character is really morally ambiguous, depending on what part of the show you're in.
You go with the flow.
I do.
He does, yeah, he does. It's really, he is the lead character, and it kind of goes through, his struggle to kind of accept who he is. Really, that's a big part of what the story is about. Him coming to terms with who he is.
Matthew, what is your part?
My character is named Horst, and he actually got brought up because he signed a petition before the Nazis took over, someone who was trying to change the law in Germany to make homosexuality legal, because it was actually illegal just to be a homosexual.
Okay, yeah, we know that there's countries that even now are kind of in the dark ages.
So he signed a petition, and the fact that his name was on a petition from a few years earlier
it targeted
was enough,
him.
And everyone, got rounded up, and that's how he ended up in prison, in the concentration
Even
camp.
though he was a supporter.
Right. I mean, it
didn't make any difference.
Exactly, and so
they didn't care.
He stays true to who he is and just tries to get along and survive in the camp.
Okay, and how about you, Brian? Good guy, bad guy?
I'm the good guy, I think.
He is. He's a good guy.
I love to ask that question because
he's the good
you
guy.
always get this look on their face. Well, I'm not sure. Am I the good guy?
And if you were to ask Rudy if Max is a good guy or a bad guy, I think he would have definitely a different answer.
At different times in the play.
Yeah, due to something that happens in Act 1. But Rudy is Max's live-in boyfriend, and then they end up running away together because Max stupidly brings someone home that he shouldn't have.
Oh, that could be a tattletale.
Someone that the SS was already looking for.
Yes, and then that sends them out on the run, and then we
I see. So they were already found. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
We go hide in the jungle. And
forest, right.
And we get caught there, and then we were on a train on the way to the concentration camp, and something happens that I don't want to give too much away.
No
see the
spoilers
show for
there.
that.
No spoilers.
But I'm not in the second act. We'll say that.
That's kind of a spoiler, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler.
We can edit that out later.
Yeah, we don't know what happened, though.
Exactly.
So we really don't know.
He visits
Not a
friends.
spoiler.
Yeah, that's right.
How did? It sounds like there's a lot going on in this play. How are you doing this stage-wise?
As far as how are we staging it? Well, a lot of it there's just individual
Suggestion?
characters.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very minimalist. I mean, because
Well,
we're
you can't do it
moving
otherwise. I want to see a train on there.
No, yeah, we
In the
really
forest.
we
I
can't
want
get
to
a
see it
train.
all.
We can't get the forest. I mean, and again, you want to have rather quick scene changes and so forth, and so there's very minimal amounts of furniture, just suggesting where we are. Like sort of cots or barracks. I'm trying to think of what to call them, bunks for
Right.
the train.
What I was curious about is your costuming, because you had to obviously get some SS uniforms.
Yeah, we're probably going to make that. That's the plan at this point. We're going to make some of that, and also, there are different costume rental companies, of course.
Oh, they
that
do.
that
That's
as
right.
well.
They do have that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is, very. They're not really excited about, lending out things with swastikas and so forth. So you have to swear that you're using it for a play.
Yeah. You're not,
You have to promise that you're not using it
It's
for
not. It's not for
anything bad.
other entertainment.
yeah, because I
purposes.
mean, they were very. I have to say, those costumes were very classy. I mean, they had the nice boots and the,
Yeah.
everything was like spit polished, clean and sharp and looking,
Yes.
But they weren't out there and doing much, probably, except writing orders and
Right,
telling
exactly.
people.
Well, then you have, there's the guards and so
Yeah.
forth, so it's a little more toned down at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
But and actually, when they come into your apartment, they're really almost like in suits. It's not really; they're almost like secret.
Yeah. They're
police,
like
so.
they would be here in this country, probably.
Yeah.
You're not going to come in barreling in with, the
I
shield
hope
on
not.
your face.
Hope not.
I hope not. Right. Tell us where the play is and when it is.
It is at the Albany Barn, which is in Albany on 2nd Street, and it is June 6th. I almost said March as well.
Yeah, I know.
June
What is
6th,
this?
7th, and 8th. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then the following weekend, it's June 12th, 13th, and 15th. We're not having a production on that second Saturday, but each...
For all ages, or what would you say?
I would definitely
based on
recommend 18 above.
18
Yeah,
above.
it's
Okay,
really
well, no, I mean, this
because
is
of the
important.
subject matter. Yeah, it
matter.
really there's lots of ways you could go with that, but it really I think it's pretty.
It
It's a
seems
pretty
to me-
serious, jarring. It can be pretty upsetting at times.
It seems to me that this play would cause you on the way home to really talk about it. And I love plays like, I just saw The God Game, and that was kind of the same thing. We
Yeah.
were going home and talking a lot about it. And I love plays that make your mind work, and you
Yeah.
kind of like think about things more, and maybe get more empathy and understanding about situations. And this is so important to have a work like this on stage. And I applaud you for putting together something which is, you're talking the 40s. I mean, that was a long time ago, or 30s and
30s,
40s.
yeah.
I mean, it depends what part of the.
What part, right, exactly.
But it's in that era that it's so important to be aware of what can happen.
It's a real eye opener for people, and I think in addition to
Exactly.
maybe bringing about conversation on the way home, I think your initial reaction is just sort of a stunned silence
Because
at
we have an
times. I mean,
element-
as you go throughout the play, there's moments.
Yeah,
really.
and we have an element in this country that would perhaps think that it was okay.
It's okay,
And
yeah.
we need to keep the awareness up there so everyone thinks about this and says, wait, we can't go that way,
Right.
So thank you for putting this play on. To me, it sounds wonderful, and I hope to be able to see it. We have a busy schedule, but I love to get to see in all these programs. And thank you all for coming here today and telling our viewers about this marvelous play. And
Thank
thank you
you.
for directing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Confetti Stage takes chances. They put out some really wonderful
Yeah.
productions. Thank you all for
Yes.
being here,
Okay,
Brian and
thank you.
Matt and everyone.